one of the last times I can call this guy a future Hall of Famer. Luke Kuechly is here. That's how you bring in a legend. That clip right there, unbelievable. Not only do you get a pick six in the NFC Championship, I need to see this again. We picked up a fan who fell out of the stands. Why did I not know this?
Yeah, I don't know who was having more fun during that game, if it was us on the sideline or that fan in the crowd. So I was walking over here, and the poor guy fell out of the stands. He flipped over. He's just on the left side of the goalpost. I don't know what happened. His face was surprise. I'm hurting. Where am I? I'm on the field. This is awesome. We're going to the Super Bowl. So his face kind of said 5 or 6 different emotions there in about 2 or 3 seconds. And then, of course, Cam comes all the way over there. I don't know how he got over there that fast, but that was a special night. Look at Cam trotting in right there. But that was a special night. And I don't know, like I said, who was having more fun, that fan in the stands or us on the sideline?
I always wonder, like, do you hate the Superman comparisons? Do you hate the Clark Kent stuff? And then it's like, look at that. There could be no more. That's the most Luke thing I've ever seen, firstly.
Yeah, it could be worse. I guess it could be a tough comparison, but
I don't know why I don't remember that.
What's that?
I don't know why I don't remember that happening.
I don't know. It was a late game. Maybe you were already sleeping.
No, maybe I was just razzle-dazzled by the pick six of it all. Luke Kuechly, an incredible game. I like going down memory lane here, but let's get into what's ahead of us here on Sunday. This Eagles defense has been great, unbelievable, tops, fun to watch. First in a lot of major categories. A month ago, Week 16, not long ago, Jayden Daniels threw for 5 touchdowns against them. How did it happen? Is the same thing going to happen this time around?
I mean, I think it'd be hard press to say he's going to throw for 5 touchdowns, but they played well in spots. They had 2 interceptions. They stopped them on 4th down. They had clean pressure right there. Just a really good ball by Jayden Daniels. And I think the conversation more is, them on the offensive side of the ball with Cliff and Jayden Daniels, just the confidence that he's been playing with these last couple of weeks and really the whole season. But what I think really highlights Jayden is that drive he had at the end of the game, that 4th quarter drive where he scrambles for 10+ yards on that 4th down play. And he always just looks like he's running just fast enough to get away from people. So to me, it's one of those things. I don't think there's anything wrong with that Philly defense. They were obviously playing on the road, and playing at the Link is a different beast, but those guys will be ready to go in Philly. But I just think his legs have been such an equalizer for that Philly offense all year, both scrambling in situations where they need first downs. Cliff calls a run play for Jayden, and he goes and gets it. He just finds a way to get it done, and it's really pretty amazing.
Jalen Hurts, I know, he's banged up. He's banged up all. I mean, a lot of the quarterbacks are banged up. We'll get to Stafford and his 19 broken ribs here in a second. He's still limited. There's a lot of, gamesmanship involved in this, not wanting to give, of course, Washington any indication on how healthy it is, his mobility. It all makes sense here. What do you think about this? What would a limited Jalen Hurts mean for this offense?
I think the one thing that we've talked about all year with them is that zone read, the RPO, Jayden's ability to run and extend plays, and how does that get affected with his knee? I thought as that game progressed, he got rolled up on last week. The safety that he took in the end zone, I think if he's on a normal knee, I think he's able to find a way to get out of that. But it's one of those things. He's tough. He's ultra competitive. I'm sure they've been working on it all week. You never know. You never know what's going on, how it feels, but you'd have to imagine early in that game, Washington's going to try to figure out where is he. Like on this play right here, he just looks like he doesn't have the same juice that he typically does. But tell you what, at the end of the game, when he needs to make a throw, he finds A.J. Brown. He's able to run pretty good right here. I just think they need to figure out where he is early in the game, both Philly and Washington, and then how does that affect the run game with Saquon? Is it less zone read, more design run for Saquon? How does that limit him scrambling and extending plays? I think there's a lot to be seen and figure out as this game progresses for both sides of the ball.
So what are you saying they're missing? They're missing scripted get it to AJ moments. What are we? And speaking of his legs, we saw him move around a little, but he really did not. He threw on the move once or twice, but it was not the same energy, and he really did not run at all after that happened. So it's something to definitely keep your eye on in this third matchup between the two of them. What are the Eagles missing?
I think they've had a difficult time on third down and passing situations when they really have to drop back and throw the ball on third down. That's been kind of one of their Achilles heel when they get to third and the opportunity to run the ball. And then obviously everybody knows about their ability to convert on fourth down. It's 3rd and 5. It's, hey, maybe they run the ball with Saquon. They go pick up 4 on 4th and 1. They can do the tush push. But when it's, 3rd and 7 to 8 plus, that's where they've really struggled. So that's been the recipe for them all year, is to stay ahead of the chains, get the ball to Saquon, pick up yards per play early in the downs. And then on third down, they have the ability to quick passing game, run the ball to Saquon, see how Jalen's knee's doing. Can they pull it? And then if they don't get it on third down, it's 4th and short, then they can just go in and sneak it.
I don't have the numbers. I wish I did from the first 2 times they met each other and what Saquon did to the Washington Commanders. Any adjustment that you would make if you were out there coaching to try to stop him, bottle him up? Some of the greats, some of your favorite people are out there trying to do it.
Well, I think you look at, Frankie and Bobby. Obviously, this offensive line has been talked about all season. There's going to be run lanes for Saquon. That's a given. But I think how you attack Saquon is really important in the sense of if you let him speed you up and slow you down, and he gets you to slow your feet down, he's going to be able to stop and start substantially faster than you are. So kind of the approach when you play a guy like this as a linebacker is trust your angle with the football, run through his hip, and make him make a drastic cut. If he's going north and south, he's a difficult guy to get on the ground. But Bobby and Frankie, if they can go meet him in the hole at full speed, make him make a drastic cut in the hole, it slows them down just for that extra half second. And guys like Jeremy Chin and the rest of that defense can kind of come pick up the slack. But if you sit and you let him make moves on you and you get passive in the hole, that's when he's dangerous. Go attack and get downhill, attack his hip, trust your angle, and make him make that drastic cut. If he makes you miss, it's okay. We just need him turning back to the rest of the defense.
It's great analysis. It's easy to say. At 146 in the first game against Washington, 150 in this last matchup. Give me just a guess on how many yards Saquon has on the ground in this game.
I think he's over 100 easy. I just think his ability for explosive plays, they're going to give him the ball 15, 20 times a game. I think he's easily over 100 yards, and that kind of goes directly into them having success on the offensive side of the ball, limiting 3rd and longs, obvious passing down situations, and keeping it third manageable where Jalen can pull the ball. We can hand it to Saquon. We can throw quick slants to his big-bodied receivers in A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert, and then any kind of 4th down play that's short, they have the ability to sneak. So I think a lot of it revolves around Saquon on that offensive line and getting positive yards on 1st and 2nd down.
125 and a half. You love Frankie Louvu. We're sad he's not we love Bobby Wagner. You're telling me that I want to hear you say it. You're telling me that Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner cannot hold Saquon to under 100 yards.
I don't think him having over 100 yards doesn't scare me. It's explosive plays that scare me. We played a game back in 2018, 2019 in Carolina, and we gave up 150 yards on the ground, and we gave up, I think, 16 points because we played well in the red zone. We didn't give up huge explosive plays. So for me, it's less about how many yards he ends up with at the end of the game. It's more the amount of explosive plays and scores that he ends up with.
And they won with him getting 150 yards last time, to your point here. In your eyes, what does, give me a real nitty-gritty specific. The NFC Championship comes down to what? What decides it?
Oh, man. I think it's turnovers and how well Jane Daniels plays. I think that's really what it comes down to. I think I think Jalen Hurts is going to be smart with the football. I think they're going to lean on Saquon Barkley and that offensive line. And really, to me, it's a challenge is going to come from Fangio and that defense and say, can the young beat us in a big moment? I think it's Jaden and that offense. Can they score enough points?
Do you think they can? Who do you got in this one?
I looked at the line. It says Philly's a 6.5 point favorite in this game. And I feel like that's kind of I feel like that's kind of a lot. And I got a bunch of buddies up in Washington, so as always,
You
I'm a
can't know.
homer.
We're not doing that.
I
Because
love
then we're
my
going to get
guys
to
up
Buffalo,
there.
and you're going to pick Buffalo because you love your
I'm
guys
gonna
up
do
there.
the same thing.
Be objective. You do this you have to do Panthers games. You played there. You're getting a Hall of Fame because of your
Yeah.
time with the Panthers. You got to be objective here. Why do you think the Commanders? You believe in Jaden more than Jalen. I know it.
I believe in Jaden Daniels, and that defense played really well last week. They forced 5 turnovers against a really good Lions team on the road in a difficult place to play. They're playing really good football right now. They're scoring points. They're playing well on defense. I'm gonna get pushback from the Philly fans again, but I have a hard time rooting against my guys up there in Washington.
Well, the crazy thing is the Commanders turned it over 5 times last time they met, and they still won. So it's kind of like, I don't know what it's hard to not see. And then you heard me in the break. I know this is not like a very Luke Kuechly way of looking at things, but magic matters to me. The magic, I don't know, seems to be on the side of Washington. The things that the bringing the Lattimore, just the move to bring Lattimore in to take on AJ for the second time. Like, this is what we did. This is why we lift them weights, taking Jaden, the way they handled Jaden, the way Jaden's looked. I'm not afraid of him playing on the road at the Link. I think I'd worry if it was a lot colder. I might have something to say about that, but it's not. Like, it's going to be 40 degrees. That's not too much for him. The magic seems to be on the side of the Commanders, but the Eagles, I would think, have the better team still.
Yeah, I think that Washington's easy to root for. They're fun.
Yeah.
They've had these
But
drives
so
at
were
the
the
end
Lions.
of the game. But the Lions were fun. But you know what, Philly is everyone wants to look at the quarterback, and yes, Jalen hasn't played as well as he's probably wanted to the last couple weeks. AJ hasn't had the ball a ton the last couple weeks, but the magic to me is it's boring, but it's that offensive line.
Yeah, for sure.
And what Saquon's been able to do in that defense, and Jalen Carter and what they've been able to do with Zach Bond. I think his season has been just so fun to watch. A guy that gets drafted and everyone kind of writes him off, and then he signs a 1-year deal in Philly, and then Fangio finds a gem, and he's an all-pro, and he could win Defensive Player of the Year. He lines up on the ball, he lines up off the ball, and maybe with Philly it's less typical storyline and more magic at other spots with all those guys. So I think you can't tell me this weekend's not fun, where it's divisional matchup on the NFC, third time those teams play, and then Kansas City and Buffalo. Just seems like that's what it is every year.
You mentioned Bond. The NFL honors stuff came out. He's a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. We'll see if he can win it. He's so fun, and I can when I can like think of plays he's made in my head, like that's how like they're really transcendent and really great that I can like actually visualize it, because it's not how I see the game. Unlike you, we'll get to your genius play of the week. We've got more analysis. Let's hit the objective AFC Championship. Okay, give me the focus for the Bills defense in this one. They looked great. And then that last drive, I was like, what's going on? Was that more on Lamar? Was it more on the defense? Like, then we've got Milano back. What does the defense need to do?
I think a lot of it is, how do you neutralize Mahomes in the playoffs, right? And I think his passing speaks for itself, but he always seems at the end of the games when it matters most to be able to scramble for a long first down on a third down play. So I think that's something they got to think about. Greg Rousseau, and Von Miller on the outside. Rush lanes this week are super important. You got to stay disciplined, got to stay on your feet. And I think that's one thing that they did a really good job last week against Baltimore, was they had a couple clean shots at Lamar. And quarterbacks like that have been around understand that pump fake's my most valuable tool. If I can get a guy in the air, then I can run away from him. He can't change direction. When he's in the air, he can't move. So I just remember back in the day with Sean McDermott, stay on your feet, get your hands up. Stay on your feet, get your hands up. So inevitably, in this game, I feel there's going to be opportunities to get Mahomes on the ground in open space behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to use that pump fake, and then it really comes down to, does Buffalo stay on their feet, run through the tackle, or do they get up in the air? So I think that's kind of one angle with them, is how they rush Mahomes, how they take care of him in the pocket when he's in space. Do you guys avoid jumping for this pump fake? And then the Kelsey situation. The first time they played, he had like 2 catches for 8 yards, and then last week, obviously, had the big game. So if you're Milano and Terrell Bernard, it's about playing Kelsey where he is, not where you think he's going to go. And I think with him, you anticipate, hey, he's going to run an over, he's going to run an OTB, a little spot route over the ball, and you anticipate where that spot on the field is going to be, and you just sit and wait. But with Kelsey, nothing happens on time, nothing happens where he's supposed to be. He's off script. He's going to run the open space, and Mahomes finds him. So if you're playing in man coverage, that's easy.
Okay.
Play through his hands, play through his eyes. But in zone coverage, I think these two down guys need to do a really good job of finding him quickly and matching him throughout the down,
What does it mean
especially
finding
when
him quickly? Like, how does he escape them? How is he, like, if he's off script, that's fine, but he's wide open all of the time. That whole game, I'm like, Texans, what are we not adjusting? What are we not doing? Your secondary has been so great and so fun to watch. Like, he's just running amok out there.
He's just wide. He just has a great feel, and he's got a great feel for where the soft spots are on the defense. And that's how, I played with Greg, and Greg was the same way. They just have an innate feel for, all right, it's cover 3, it's cover 4, it's cover 2, it's zone, it's man, where's the soft spot? Where do I know they break down? And that's just a huge credit to Kelsey of understanding that. But then, obviously the matchup with, Milano and Kelsey,
Well,
they played each other.
Milano wasn't in that first. Milano was not in that game, and now he's back. I feel like Milano could be what it comes down to here. Do you feel strongly about that?
Well, he's going to have the opportunity to play on Kelsey a bunch, and I think he's going to have a big role in what they want to do with Buffalo on that side of the ball.
Okay, love hearing that. I want to talk to you a little bit about Patrick Mahomes, and maybe just how you would handle. You saw the penalties. He actually apologized for the one on the sideline. Aikman didn't like it. There's some gamesmanship. It's allowed, right? The ref's throwing the flag. This is a tactic that is used by Mahomes. Is he right? And how would you handle this if you were playing against him?
I think you just have to. You gotta play fast. You gotta play physical, because we've seen him act like he's going out of bounds and then stay in bounds. So a lot of it to me is just play full speed, and then it's hard because he understands that he's getting calls. He understands that, like that right there.
What?
I think he's trying to get a call, and quite frankly, I don't blame him. He's trying to pick up a quick 15. He's trying to get a first down, but I think you got to play physical through him. I think, and the biggest thing is just have to stay away from his head and don't push him out of bounds. Like, I think all these guys want to get hits on quarterbacks, but I think the biggest thing is stay away from the head and play fast and physical. And if he gets near the sideline, don't make it close. Don't make it close. And you got to take all the decision making out of it and just say, I'm going to play football. If he slides, he slides, but I'm going to play fast and physical until he gets on the ground.
Who wins this game?
Hard.
I don't know what the over. I don't know the line. Let's take a look. I'm sure they have it right there. 1.5.
I'm going to go with my guys in Buffalo.
Why?
I like Josh. I think Josh is going to figure it out. I think his drive right now to find a way to win in any way that he can do it is what's going to take him to the top. I think, last week he didn't throw for a whole lot, but he found a way to win games. And I think he understood, if I control the ball, I don't turn the ball over, we're going to play well on defense, we'll force some turnovers. I got to score just enough to win and not turn the football over. I just feel like with Josh, he wants to win so badly, and I just feel like it's so difficult to beat him right now.
Hasn't he always, though? What's different? That's the question you have, right? Like, I have James Cook on the show tomorrow, and that's all I want to know. What is different? You've always had the will. You've always had the talent. A little more run heavy, a little more, less flash, less putting it on his own shoulders. Lots being made of. Did he want to lob it up to James Cook on there, which would have been maybe deemed reckless? Or Josh, he said he was maturing. Everybody's freaking out. We collectively want and believe that he can get past this. I'm just so curious why. Why now?
I think he is ready. I think that team's ready. I don't think there's one guy on the offensive side of the ball where he feels like he needs to get the ball to, and I think he can just go play. You look at Amari Cooper. He's barely touched the ball, and then it came out this week that all he cares about is winning. He's like, I've had 1,000-yard seasons. I've gotten paid a lot of money. I've been in good teams, bad teams. I just want to win. So I think that just speaks to that side of the ball of, they don't care who wins. They don't care who gets the credit. They don't care who scores the touchdowns. They just want to win football games, and they protected the ball very well the last couple weeks, and that's where I'm going to give him the edge.
You really think, that's going to go out into the world and it's going to be, this is about Davis again, this is about Diggs again, it's about not even to force the ball to one guy, it's about that. Is that's kind of stuff matters this much?
I think, I don't know. It has nothing to do with the personnel. I just think you look at the success that teams have had over the years, and I think we're a big example of that when we went to the Super Bowl in 15.
Okay.
We had Kelvin Benjamin, and he gets hurt. He gets hurt in training camp, and it's like, who's going to be the guy this year? Obviously, Greg was our number one receiver, went over 1,000 yards, stud. But as a receiving core, it was Cam just threw the ball to the guy that was open, and there were no egos. Stu was obviously our running back, great player, no ego there, and guys just wanted to win. And I think there's a huge component of we're all pulling in the same direction. We don't care who gets the credit. We're here to win football games and go to the Super Bowl. Patriots
operated that way. Chiefs did it with and without a number one wide receiver. Interesting, super interesting. Okay, we're going to actually take a short break here, but in the break, you're going to do my Luke Kuechly moment of the week. J.K. Dobbins is on the way, but yes, let's get you with the weekly Kuechly, not for the meekly, probably pretty geekly, future Hall of Famer, moment of genius. Luke, I need to know the smartest thing you saw in the divisional round.
I'm gonna go back to Josh Allen and Joe Brady.
Okay.
They line up in the first series of the game. They get a couple motions. They understand, hey, it's zone coverage. Josh knows he's got cover two. He's got two wide safeties on the outside, but then Keon Coleman's running a go route, and they're running a go route on the other side of the ball. Both safeties are spread wide, and all he needs to do is just plop the ball over the top to Shakir there for a big gain. And this was the longest passing play of the game for him. But I think it's really just good understanding by Josh of, hey, man zone, I know it's zone. I know that we have two go balls on the outside, which is going to pull the safeties, and then everybody always talks about the arm strength of Josh and his ability to fit it in anywhere. But this, to me, is an example of him just putting a little touch on that ball, getting it over that middle run player and putting it right in the arms of his receiver. So really good play by Josh, and big start to that opening drive for him.